Hey everyone, I'm Brad. In this video, I'm going to show you my asset portfolio. Portfolio? I'm not going to show you my butt. In this video, I'm going to talk about all the different assets I have money in so that we can go through them and get an idea of where you can put your money to invest, keep it safe, and what kind of assets are depreciable and they lose money over time. So, let's jump into the computer. Okay, we're in the computer. So this is my portfolio. So I made this at meta-chart.com. You can see in the bottom right corner. You can make pie charts and any kind of charts there at that website. It's all free. So off the bat, what you don't see in this chart are a couple of things that I wanted to talk about. So the first being my wife and I are completely debt-free other than the mortgage that we owe on our home. So we don't have car notes, we don't have credit card bills, we don't have student loans, we don't have any unpaid bills. We are debt-free other than the mortgage on the home that we live in right now. So that's part of the reason why I have vehicles listed up in that top left. You'll see there. Those are assets to us because we own them outright. They are worth money. We don't owe any money on them. So even though they depreciate in value over time, they're still worth money right now. So that's an asset to us. It's not an investment. This is not a picture of my investment portfolio. It's an asset portfolio. So they're worth money, and so that's why they're on there. The other thing I wanted to mention that is not shown here is my military pension. So I've been in the Navy for 12 years now. For your military pension to vest, you have to have at least 20 years in. So I'm 12 years towards a 20-year requirement to get a pension from the military that will be 50% of my base pay for the rest of my life. So that is only, 12 into 20, that's only 60% of the way there. So it hasn't vested, but you could figure out how to put that on here if you wanted to. You would have to figure out how much that pension would be worth over the rest of your life. So just as an example, a nice even number might be $1 million, right? So you retire from the military at say 41 or 42 if you do 20 years. You could retire as early as 37 or 38 if you went in right out of high school and did exactly 20 years. And so 50% of your base pay over the rest of your life after that, if you're, say, 40 and you think you're going to live to be 80 or 85, that's 40 or 45 years of pension money from the U.S. government. They're paying half of your base pay that you retired at for the rest of your life. That adds up over time. It can be a pretty significant number. So let's say it's $1 million. In order for me to put that on here, it wouldn't be $1 million because right now I only have 12 years towards that 20-year requirement. So 12 of 20 is 60%. So I would say 60% of $1 million is $600,000. So I could factor that into my portfolio as $600,000 if I wanted to. Now I'm not going to do that because there's still some risk there in investing. If something happened and I didn't finish my 20 years for whatever reason, that's not the plan, but it could happen. I'm not going to assume that money is mine, and it doesn't exist until you hit 20, until it vests. So I am just going to be conservative and not put it on here. So we have the debt-free aspect, we have the military pension aspect. I talked about the vehicles and why they're on here. They're assets, even though they're not investments, they're not appreciable assets, they're still worth money. So moving over to the top right, we have real estate. So 32% of my wealth is in real estate, and that's basically the equity on the home that we live in right now. So we moved to Tampa 2.5 years ago, bought a home when we got there, a little bit of a down payment, so we got some equity right off the bat in that. And then we've been fortunate that the Tampa Bay area has appreciated in value pretty nicely over the 2.5 years that we've been here. So, so we have some pretty good equity built up in that. I used to have a rental property in Augusta when we were stationed there. We lived in that house for 3 years and then rented it out for another 5 years while we were at other duty stations, built up some nice equity in that, and eventually sold it just this past year. We used the savings from, or we used the money that we made from that sale to pay off our vehicles and credit cards. So that's how we are debt free, and that's how we have vehicles as an asset on this portfolio. So in doing that, we transferred a lot of our wealth from real estate to vehicles and becoming debt free. So this pie chart looked very different a year ago, but we were happy to do that. One, because we were kind of tired of having to deal with renters in Augusta. Also being, stationed 8 hours away from Augusta, it wasn't feasible for us to go up there very often to check on any issues. So we were just happy to get out of that. We were also getting to the point with the house where we were having maintenance issues pop up from time to time, so we just wanted to get away from that. So cashed out, took the money, paid off the vehicles, paid off the credit cards. Now we're debt free, and we don't have any car notes. That's pretty nice. Okay, so we went over real estate. Looking at the bottom now, retirement is also 32% of our net wealth. That's just our TSP account. That's the military or federal government program for a retirement account, kind of like a 401k. If you know what a 401k is with a company, the military and if you work for like a federal government agency, they have a program called TSP Thrift Savings Plan, and it's basically a 401k. So I invest my money every month into my TSP, into the Roth IRA option in it. So that's been building up nicely over the last 12 years since I've been in the military. So that is 32% of our net wealth. And then moving on to the smaller slices, we have 5.7% of our net wealth is in cash. That's basically our savings account for emergencies. So I think Dave Ramsey says to have 3 to 6 months of expenses saved in an emergency fund. 3 to 6 would be great if you can afford it. We have a little bit of cash in our savings account for those reasons as well. So okay, so moving on to stocks. So 4.5% of my net wealth is in an investment account, a separate account from my retirement account, my TSP, right? So my TSP, my retirement account, is in stocks usually, but this 4.5% in stocks is a separate account. I use it for trading, for long-term buy and hold stocks, but it's taxable, so it's a separate account. So when you see me make videos talking about trading certain stocks or the market, buying and selling, just know that I'm talking about what I do with that is a very small percentage of my overall wealth portfolio. And I would recommend that to anyone else as well, not to really, if you're trading stocks, please don't do that with a huge portion of your wealth. And again, this is just my opinion, not a financial advisor, but I would imagine any financial advisor would say if you're going to be trading stocks, options, do it with a small percentage of your wealth, because it's very risky. Speaking of risk, cryptocurrency is 3.2% of my portfolio. That's largely just speculative. I have a lot of money in Bitcoin and a bunch of different altcoins, and I just leave that money in there. If one day Bitcoin goes from, I think it's at 10,000 and change right now. if it goes to 100,000 or 200,000, I just made 1,000% or 2,000% on my money. I don't know that it ever will, but I have a small portion of my money in crypto, and I'm fine with leaving it in there because I don't have a ton of my wealth betting on if cryptocurrency is gonna boom or bust. So, and then I just have the tiniest little bit of money in precious metals. So silver, gold, coins, bars, things like that. So this doesn't include jewelry or anything else around the house that you could sell. I don't have any of that stuff here in this wealth portfolio, other than vehicles maybe might fit that category, but as far as like things around the house that you could sell for money, I didn't include any of that. I only included big items that are worth a lot of money that you could liquidate if you had to, like vehicles. Okay, so that's all I have for this. Please let me know what you think. If you have any feedback on my portfolio, I would love to hear it down in the comments below. If you got some value on this, or if you have questions, you want to ask me, how did I get into some of these things, or anything like that, leave it down below and I'll get back to you. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button and please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks.